Hey everyone, John from Nintendo Life here, and today we're gonna mix things up. I'm gonna talk about a video game. So, quite often in my videos, I show off my Wii shelf, just like as a display or as a backdrop or something, and I get many comments asking, what is that white blank case? Well, I lost the inlay, I'm not sure where it is, I don't know how I lost the inlay, but the white blank case is Mario Strikers Charged Football. We had to add football in the end to understand what it is, because here in Europe we struggle. Like Mario and Luigi, we don't know who they are, so in some games, we have to add bros on the end to understand that they're bros. And the predecessor to this was not called Super Mario Strikers, it was called Mario Smash Football, which just kind of describes what you do in the game. But the reason I'm talking about this today is because I feel like this was such an important spin-off, and something Nintendo has moved away from. So to understand the pure impact of Mario Strikers Charged in particular, we've got to go back, all the way back to the Wii. So the Wii launched in America in 2006 November, and in Europe it was December of 2006, and we launched with Twilight Princess, Excite Truck, Monkey Ball Banana Blitz, and of course, Wii Sports. But one big franchise was missing, and that franchise was Mario. It would take a while for the Wii to get its Mario game, but Mario Galaxy launched a year later, in November of 2007. But in that time, there were two other important Mario games. But what's important to understand is in this era, the world was not equal, and sometimes Europe would get games months after America, months and months. And occasionally, very rarely, not very often, sometimes Europe would get games before America. And this was a shining example. So I believe Super Paper Mario launched in May or April in America. We didn't get that game until September here in Europe, months after. But we got one game before you guys, which was Mario Strikers Charged Football. And what was even more important about this is this was the first party release on the Wii to support Nintendo Wi-Fi connection. So this was basically the Wii's major online game at the time. And it was kind of my first major online game too. I mean, I played Halo 2 on my friend's Xbox like way back in 2005, but I didn't have Wi-Fi in my home. My parents just had wired broadband, and connecting that to a console was troublesome, because my console was all the way upstairs. So what I had to do was, well, there's two options I had. I played Need for Speed Most Wanted on my PSP by putting my PSP up to the wall and stealing my neighbour's unprotected Wi-Fi. Sorry neighbours, I did that. Also though, there was this thing. This was a USB connector that made any wired desktop give off a wireless connection. And this was an official Nintendo product, because Wi-Fi was rare in the early or mid-2000s. And so to play DS games and Wii games, I had to use this for a while. So this plus this was my online fix for a long time. And I wouldn't have it any other way, because Mario Strikers is more than just the first Mario game on the Wii in Europe. It's more than just the first online game for the Wii. It was such a bizarre and crazy take on the Mario franchise, and in my opinion, it grew the franchise, which makes it even more disappointing that it seems that this made Nintendo a lot more conservative with what they did with Mario. Imran Khan, who works in the industry, says that this game made Nintendo be very tight with how they treat the characters, which is why in Mario RPGs like Sticker Star, they basically just have toads. So if that is true, that's very disappointing, because I think this gave Mario that Mickey Mouse freedom of being anything. You've got this really happy and cartoonish character, but somehow putting him in armor and throwing him into an electrified fence doesn't feel jarring. And I think this made people have a new appreciation for the broader Mario cast. If it weren't for Strikers, I don't think the Daisy fanbase would be as, as randy as they are now. This game gave her such a distinct personality, and really put her on the radar of many fans. Well, Luigi too. I don't think he would have the same prominence if it weren't for this game. Now, of course, Wario and Waluigi previously caused antics in Camelot's intros and things like that, but just the base personality was nothing like it is in Strikers. Everyone is so turned to the max in this game. The personalities really shine. And Next Level Games, the developers who also worked on Luigi's Mansion and Punch-Out, you can tell that their DNA's in here. They are all about animation and just giving characters such bold personalities through their actions, not through dialogue, just through what they do. And that's even evident in their early work. They really do shine here. And this game God, does this game have a personality. But I think what's really important about Strikers is what it did for the Mario spin-offs as a whole. Because prior to this, we had games like Mario Golf Toadstool Tour and Mario Power Tennis, which were really fun games. But when you look at Mario as a character, he is just that cartoon happy guy. He's the guy we were just describing. He's wearing his overalls when playing tennis. That's a bad idea. You're going to get sweaty, Mario. But in Strikers, they really put them out there. In the first GameCube game, they're wearing like regular football outfits and they're kicking a regular football, but in Strikers Charge, the outfits have got far more extreme. And no longer are they kicking a football, they're kicking an actual metal compound. Like, that can't feel good for your feet. And that's probably why their shoes are so, like, spiked and full of armor. It really just does go to the extreme. But I keep talking about the flavor of the game, and it's more than that. It's more than just what it looks like. The core gameplay is really good too. And I don't know much about laws, but I think this is probably treason to say, but I live in the UK, and I don't care for football. I played it when I was younger as part of a team, but I never cared for watching the sport, or playing many video game adaptations, like FIFA and PES, they don't interest me. But something about this does, and I think it's just the arcade action presented by Mario. I mean, this isn't a sim whatsoever, this is a full arcade football game, and it really succeeds at that. So I'm sure most of you played Strikers Charged, but probably few of you played the GameCube game. And they're actually really similar mechanically. In fact, Strikers Charged has all the stadiums from the GameCube game in there. This just kind of builds upon the foundation set by the original. But there are two major differences, and that is how you can score your charge goals. So basically in both games, the captains are able to basically charge the ball up, get this like meter up, and if you time it right, you can launch in the air, and somehow, using one ball, score multiple goals at once. In the GameCube game though, it was a bit different. Basically, if you time it right and score a goal, you score 2 goals at once with the same ball. Whereas in the Wii game, there's an opportunity to score 6 at once. But this is kind of balanced, as there's some Wii mechanics in there too, where you can point at the screen and be the goalkeeper catching the balls. So there's more of a chance to stop them from coming in, but there's also more of a chance to score, well, triple the amount you can on GameCube. So which one's the better mechanic? I'm not entirely sure. I think I like that the GameCube game holds back on the volume, but I also love that the Wii game gives you a chance to stop any of these goals from happening. And really, when you're playing online against another person, getting to that scenario isn't actually that common. When you're against computers, yeah, all the time, you can just stop and charge and shoot. When you're playing against another person, when they do that, that is the time you walk in and tackle them. You really have to distance yourself in order to do this maneuver, so it's really not as common as it may seem when playing against computers. And that's a shame too, because the game now is officially offline. So to play against other people, you really have to play locally, or use some other kind of server thing. I'm not here to describe that. Another big difference too is on GameCube, you choose your captains, and then you kind of choose a species for your other teammates to be. So you can't mix and match. Like, you've got Toads, you've got Koopas, you've got... what are the other ones? Birdo. But on Wii, you can manually customize every single character. I mean, the Wii game really was a fantastic sequel. It upped the ante in how extreme it is, there's a more broad roster, all the stages are back, plus some new ones, there's online play, there's new mechanics, it's just everything you could have wanted from a Mario sports game. Which is kind of interesting, because when we see Mario sports games criticized today, I'm not entirely sure they're criticizing the right components all the time. People often fixate on the extras, on the side activities, and just from my personal experience, with like Mario Power Tennis, I'll play the side activities for maybe a few hours overall, if that. But my core experience is with the core foundation of the game, playing tennis. And so while those side activities are definitely cool, it's definitely cool they're there, they build the game up a bit more. They are what you spend most of your time doing. And so in games like Mario Tennis Aces don't really have those side activities. Like, yeah, it's a bummer, but it doesn't impact how I feel about the core mechanics of the game, which is really what the game is about. And I've spent 100 hours with that game, so clearly to me, that's enough. And Mario Strikers is the exact same. Neither of these games have side activities. It's just football, nothing else. And people don't really have any issue with that. I've never heard any criticisms, at least. So I think as long as the base gameplay is fun, that's all Mario sports games really need. And unfortunately with Mario Golf Super Rush, it didn't really last. I mean, I enjoyed the base gameplay for a while, but it didn't carry the experience. So I guess the final question is could a game like this exist today? Could Mario Strikers get a modern sequel on the Switch? And I guess the answer is maybe? I mean, Nintendo bought Next Level Games last year, they own the studio now, so we can expect to see more from them in the future. But could Mario Strikers come back? I hope so, I really do hope so. But it does seem Nintendo are a little bit more on the leash with Mario now, and whether they'll let him be as extreme as this, I don't know. And if Mario Strikers comes back without all of this flavour, is it even Mario Strikers anymore? If it does come back though, and it maintains all of its style, this could be fantastic. I mean, I think last year, I tweeted asking for fan art of characters in the Mario Strikers style, and people gave me tons. I didn't know this existed, but they gave me all these characters, and it occurred to me, hey, Rosalina didn't exist when Mario Strikers Charged came out, and Pauline didn't have her resurgence. There's so many characters that aren't in Strikers Charged or Mario Smash Football that you really could build upon with a new roster. So just being an HD and having a more broad roster and bringing online back, and maybe, I guess, finding a balance between the original charge mechanics and the Strikers charge mechanics, I think that could really justify a new game. And you know, football is the world's most popular sport, so we can keep doing tennis and golf. Can't we do football? I mean, it just makes sense. So I really do hope this is going to happen, and maybe, now that Next Level are properly a Nintendo studio, maybe it could happen. I mean, there was a poster in Luigi's Mansion, so clearly Nintendo aren't shying away from the existence of Mario Strikers. So we can only hope, but at least we have these two. No matter what happens in the future, we'll always have these games, and they're an absolute blast. So let me know your memories and experiences with Mario Strikers Charged and the original GameCube game, and did you own one of these? Thank you for watching, and of course go to the subscribe button, and plug in your Nintendo Wi-Fi adapter, and play your favourite Wii and DS games via the powers of subscription. And we'll see you next time. Bye everyone.